What Reagan didn't know. Iran Gate, Contragate, North Scam, Iranamok. Here we go again with the best present we've received in a long, long time. Your friend and mine, Grandpa Caligula, the Gipper. Boy, is he shitting Teflon bricks now.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Hostages back, not all of them. What a genius! What a deal! What a guy!
Just showing the total social control, obviously. Just thousands of public schools with retina scanners when the children arrive. Total police state. We're just going into the cashless society control grid designed by the banks. Bernanke finally tells the truth, says the United States is on the brink of financial disaster, but don't worry. But don't worry, the IMF says they've got a, quote, new world order. That's the mainstream news headline. A new world order to fix that, where you give the banks that have engineered all this crisis even more power.
Don't you wish you had him on your side, doing his best on your behalf? Don't you wish you had him to depend on next time you get caught in a small emergency like being kidnapped? What does he do when his B-movie game is up? Freaks out, stonewalls, no surprise, really, when you look around and see how many seasoned Watergate criminals have been up to their old tricks since Reagan gave them their new jobs in the White House and in his cabinet. Just like Nixon, he blamed
Staged crises, martial law, the collapse of society. And he's been warning about this for a long time. Now we are headed into that collapse. Obviously, gold hit $1,300 plus $1,360 plus today. There's been some profit taking. It's gone down about $20. Continue to watch that as it continues to unfold. Crude oil exploding, especially in Asia, to over $84 a barrel. I knew this was coming. the Chicago Mafia, New York City, big city Mafia model that was adopted in 1952 by the Pentagon with the annual comprehensive financial reports loan sharking model, where Wall Street, CIA, that's set up, CIA was Wall Street, comes in, pays off your city managers, gets them to invest most of your tax money off books, and then they basically then pay off the politicians with a small part of the profits, and then over time get the entire country and every locality into debt. And then they pass bigger packet. They were given more power in October of 2008. They were given more power this year with the Federal Reserve being given control over the whole economy. But the general public knows all about football and all about sitcoms. They don't know about international banking cartels, and so we're in a lot of trouble. Though some people are starting to wake up to this. The Republican candidate out in Nevada.
It's all on the press. Somehow it's the fault of the media that his head terrorists got caught. Sure, he says mistakes were made. He has yet to say he was sorry. He says, I know my people did nothing wrong. Even though I didn't know what they've been up to. It was all done behind my back. It was all done behind my ever so willing asshole. Honest, I didn't know. Did I lie to
Whether it's a nursery for children or a nursery for plants, and say you've got 15 employees, you're not going to get the waiver. Okay, they're paid $10 an hour, and if you're going to give them insurance, that'll basically comes out to about, on average, about $18 an hour. You're just going to have to lay off 30-40% of your employees to give the other ones the health care, and they're going to have their pay cut as well and have to pay for part of it. And I mean, I'm living in tyranny, and it's getting darker. The corruption is expanding. No one can deny it now. And so it's just like when all these globalist firms that are based in Austin for green energy. And they are taxing Austinites in the next 3 years, $2.6 billion, Austin Energy announced, to pay for all these new power lines and solar plants and the rest of it. And it's all sweetheart deals. For every job they create with this, it costs 2 jobs conservatively. The federal government admits that. I've got to pay for all this, and it all goes to select corporations and groups, and then they're all getting total tax exemption. All these companies that have moved to the town where I live, they don't have to pay property taxes. They don't have to pay all the other city. They're just given waivers, but not Alex Jones. And it's more than tens of thousands of small businesses. And I've done the math. It's more than 1 million small businesses. In fact, guys, I saw that a few months ago. Search the term number of small businesses in the U.S. I mean, I know it varies depending on how you break it down, but I know it's around 1 million. So 1 million businesses.
Cemetery with all them stormtrooper skeletons down below, He said that Nazi soldiers were victims, just as surely as the victims in the concentration camps. some people got a little bit unamused. So he said, "Oh yes, I know all the bad things that happened in that war. I was in uniform for 4 years myself." What he didn't know was World War II took place in Europe and in the South Pacific, not in the first motion picture unit of the Army Air Corps at Hal Roach Studios in Hollywood. He said missiles launched from submarines can be recalled in the event of a false alarm. What he didn't know is they can't be recalled. When asked if he'd be visiting the Vietnam War Memorial, he said, "I can't tell until somebody tells me. I never know where I'm going." So, the question remains, is our buddy Ronald McGregor...
She talks about fluoride being deadly poison, vaccines being dangerous, and abolishing the Federal Reserve. They've tried to script her and cast her as a kook, but it isn't working. People go, wow, the mainstream media, MSNBC and CNN are calling her a lunatic kook. Wow, I better vote for her. Oh, the media is saying that Rand Paul kidnapped a woman.
Read the cue cards, Ronnie. Now talk assuredly and soothe the people. It's your job to soften the blow of corporate martial law.